Now, the rest of the story.
I don't know if you can really see behind me. I mean, I know the windows are dirty, but I'm actually out here raking up third cut alfalfa, which it's later than we would normally make it. In recent years, we really don't make a whole lot of hay in August, and this year we ended up making more than we typically do, which I guess anything is more than what we typically do. Third cutting has actually yielded better than first cut, I'd say. I mean, these are some really nice windrows for what they are, and the quality, I think, is definitely there. A lot of it right now it's the end of August, it's the 22nd of August, and I like this stuff, and for how fast it is greening up, I would like to get this stuff made one more time and wrapped up, or, rolled up, and then let any of the regrowth that comes back get grazed off after we're done with harvest. Because the longer we can go into winter and not have to feed any round bales, the better. We're actually sitting, Mom and Dad are sitting really good as far as feed goes for their cattle. Ryan he says he's got more feed on hand than what he did last year at this time, so he's happy. The only person that I guess has got reason to be concerned is the one that typically produces the most hay every year. I usually produce probably 3 or 4 times more than Mom and Dad and Ryan. Probably 3 times as much as Ryan. Yeah, 3 times as much. And if you guys saw, I only took 1 cutting off the valley. It just didn't come back. We didn't have the moisture hardly at all. We had 3 inches last week, which ultimately turned me away from wanting to try to make a second cut off of just the bottom and get at least a third of that farm coming back for a last cut in a month. Just because for how much rain we got, it probably would have been Sunday or Monday before I would have actually been able to cut anything down there. Well, then by the time you factor in a week to get it hopefully dried down, and if you're using this week as an example, I don't know if you'd really get it very dry. Even this stuff, for how long it's been on the ground, it's just not drying, or it didn't dry very quick. So right now the bottom does look really nice. The bench ground, the lighter ground, if I would have made that between first cut and now, that easily would not have produced anything by next month. The bottom itself, I know it's rooted down to moisture, but my problem is just with the weather we're getting, I'm just having a hard time believing that even with the available moisture, I wasn't going to get anything to make, I wasn't going to get enough regrowth back on it at this point in the game to justify cutting it a third time in September. So my big brain logic is I'd rather let it go, let it grow. It is still growing, it's still growing out leaves, the bottom is. Even the bench ground is actually greened up a fair amount from that dose of rain we got. Let it go, and then make anything that does come up. I'll make 100% of the growth that comes up next month. I'll take it off at ground level, and that'll just be that. I'm hoping for at least 200 bales, because I think that's, I was doing rough math in my head. with the current number of cattle I got on hand and how much feed they typically go through on average, I'm going to need about 210 bales to get to first cut next year. So I still got that across the road. That's alfalfa. That's coming back nicely. On the bench ground down there, I got about a third of that farm where it has first cutting is worthwhile. Typically. You've heard me talk about wanting to go down after first cut and disc it down and try directly seeding in alfalfa, and not really trying to mess with the oats, not trying to burn up any available water, but I'm really strongly considering going that route. Even if I just do the 7-acre field, disc it down, harrow it, and then just pull the grain drill over and drop about 30 pounds to the acre of alfalfa down on it. Because the grass that is available there, it's just not doing anything. I mean, soil samples aren't coming back terrible. They're not outstanding down there, but they're not exactly, you know, deep in the red, absolute atrocious nutrient levels either. I mean, I've been trying to keep the fertilizer and the nutrient level up on that farm, because the more feed I can produce, the better. I mean, I do typically sell a fair amount of hay. I'd like to kind of get away from that. Even if I'm only selling a couple hundred bales a year. I know cattle prices fluctuate, but I can actually, I'll make more walking the hay off the farm than hauling it off the farm. You know, that comment comes from corn also. I'll make more money feeding it through cattle than selling it off the field. Well, my opinions haven't exactly changed on corn. I would rather sell it and just keep back enough to feed my feeder calves for 60 days, which is what I've done. I have 14 calves. I got my bulk bin up at the farm. I mixed up a load and a half is what it takes to fill that bulk bin. But I got my mineral, I got my corn cracked and everything in it. So at least I got my grains set aside for my wean calves when I wean them off in November, and I'll put them on grain for 60 days. Just bucket feed them. I'm not going to put them on full feed or nothing, but just enough to get them bunk broke, get them tamed down, because I got a couple that are just, you know, dumbbells. Get them used to being around humans, and, you know, put a little bit of condition on them. I mean, they're getting all the feed that they want. I mean, I know grass is grass, even when I'm hauling it and putting it in my feeder, my inline feeder. Ideally, I'll have that up and running yet here. The intentions are to have that up and running well before harvest, and just keeping hay in front of them, free choice feed 100% of the time. They're still going to grow. They are growing. They've been growing. Even my cows, they actually look really nice. The only cows I got, the only cows I got that are kind of boned out, looking a little gant or whatever, are the cows that are about 10 years old. So I can only expect so much out of those guys. And as long as they produce calves, I'll keep them. But the reason why I preg checked my cows in June this year, so I know who's open, who's not. I got 2 calves coming in this fall. In the next month and a half, actually, I have 2 calves that are due. But then when I put them in with the bulls again this fall, anybody that comes through next summer that is open, that isn't due to have a calf next spring, isn't due to have a calf next fall, is getting a free taxi ride to the sale barn. That's my culling program right now. As long as you're able to produce 4 legs and a heartbeat, I'll keep you. I'm still planning on going to like the Red Fest, the Red Fest, but the Red Hided cow sales going forward here. But I don't have an exact number of cows I'm actually aiming for. I'm more or less willing to raise as many cattle as I can within reason without, you know, getting overwhelmed. But we're also sitting, overall for us, we're set up to handle cattle. My biggest issue is, like, my place, some of these fences are older than me. Heck, they may even be older than my parents. As a matter of fact, I think there's a couple on this farm that are older than my parents. And you get trees growing in tree lines. My biggest enemy, at least with keeping the cows in at my place, are trees. Typically, if I get called that, hey, you got a cow out, tree fell in the fence. And when you got 100+ acres of pasture, I can only do so much to keep the trees off the fences. Ideally, I'm gonna get a bulldozer in and bulldoze the works. That'd be great. That's the plan. But with the amount of purchases I've made here in the last 12 months, 18 months, some of that stuff's gonna have to be on the back burner. So I'm paying for the planter, bean head, and I bought that farm, field, whatever. You know, people are getting bent out of shape because I called it a farm when it's just a field. But it's clear. It's fun to farm. I got to clear out, we already took out one stretch of fence. The one side is clear, and I have another stretch that's got some trees and shrubs and stuff in it. I want to get tore out because that field will never see cattle again. Just logistically, it doesn't make any sense to try to put cattle in it. And I more or less just want to get that fence line tore out. It'll benefit the neighbor and myself because I want to be able to use my driveway around the whole field, because I can actually go in one driveway and then leave on another driveway. So I got 2 points of access, technically 3 points of access on that field. But it's a nice farm. The people that had it before me took really good care of it, and I really do appreciate that. As far as hay this year, it's really weird seeing third crop, potentially fourth crop yield better than first and second. But at least I can say for first and second cut, I mean, the quality is really there. It's just the quantity, like for me, would have been better. I mean, the bottom was flooded. I mean, I can only use so much there. And I wouldn't mind trying to get some alfalfa coming in down there on about a third of the farm. The neighbor's place is actually coming up on its own, albeit, yeah, for the most part. It's actually got a reed canary like off the bottom coming in across it naturally. In the 3 years since I've been down there, it's over easily double the amount of canary that's coming in across it. And I sound crazy saying it, but I actually like reed canary for feed. I mean, even if I sell first crop, which is what I did this year, and then I keep all of the regrowth, because the regrowth is what everybody seems to want. But if I keep the regrowth for myself and feed my cows some higher quality grass hay, I mean, that's what cattle always used to grow on, was regular grass. I get some flack because I don't put my cattle out on pasture. I don't have pasture. I'm planning on having a little bit more pasture next year, but it's not going to be enough for 100% of my cattle. So the thing is with the valley, it doesn't have the infrastructure on it anymore to put cattle down there. And I would not be able to sleep at night if I had cattle down at the valley. Just, there's no way. But it produces, on a typical year, I'd say on even an average year, it'll produce a lot of hay. Well, this year wasn't an average year for me down there. And being able to make a pile of hay, haul it home, and then feed it out at 8, 10, 12 bales at a crack, depending on how I get my feed bunk set up and how many bales I can put in between bale feeders and my bunk if I decide to do that. I personally feel like I got it set up. I can feed a lot of cattle really easily. We get Rockville set up, or the home farm set up. Pretty much, once we do that, I'm probably going to switch my intentions to working on down here. Ryan's worked on his place, trying to get his place fixed up. I'd like to come down here, have the Amish come down and rip out, fix up, do whatever they got to do to the lean-to of this barn, get the water ran up to that upper shed again, and I'll have another calf lot, cow lot, bull lot, probably bulls, honestly, in this shed up here. Otherwise, I could see using it for feeder calves. Because right now, between Dad, Ryan, and I, we're sitting on about 150 head of cows, 170, 150. And Ryan's planning on continuing to keep cattle back for at least one more rotation. Myself, as long as I can keep the feed coming, I could see getting up about 100 head. I mean, I'm already at 53, not including my calves or my heifers that are in the house lot now. And as long as they got a little bit of pasture they can go out and sit on, lay on, I'm going to put a hot wire around it. I mean, they're going to have the pasture down to dirt. Might not look outstanding and pretty, but as long as they have plenty of food and plenty of water, there's no reason I can't make that work. But it goes right into what I was just saying, though, getting my place fixed up, because I could see hauling some of my cows down to my place and putting them around the barn down here, which was what I was planning on doing this year. But you guys talk to enough farmers, it's amazing how you get into spring out of winter and you start going over all the projects that you're going to get done this year, and it's amazing how the months just gradually tick by. And granted, you're making progress on your projects, but they're not exactly getting done, or all of them aren't exactly getting done, which is where I'm at. Because that feed bunk, that kind of fell in my lap. I knew I wanted to do it, but the guardrail fell into my lap. The stuff was cheap, very cheap in my opinion, because I was looking up what 12-foot section or 15-foot sections, like $300 for brand new, because I couldn't find any used guardrail, for like $300 or $400 for a 16-foot section of guardrail. The ones that I got up there, they are approximately 26 feet long, a little bit longer because I messed up my measurements on my support posts. So it's actually like 2 feet longer than the 26. So 26 plus 26 plus 2. That's approximately how long the feed bunk is. And I was able to go and pick those up off of a pile of 1,200 because they were salvaged off the side of a road, road construction, and they said there was 1,200 pieces of guardrail to choose from. and I paid for 12, what was it, for 12 of them I paid $960. That's right, 3, 6, 9, yeah, 12 of them. For 12 of them that were 26 feet long a piece, plus or minus, you know, a foot, not even that, 6 inches, because they just took a grinder and they just cut them all off at the splices. But what I got will do what I need. I just gotta make it work to a small degree. Just added more steps to it, which is more frustrating to me than anything, because I had it set up so I could just drop in and go, like bolt them up and you're done. So that was more frustrating to me than anything, so it just made more work out of it. But yeah, that feeder up at Rockville, I could see coming down to my place and dozing off pretty much everything that's up there and starting over, because it was built on a hillside and it's all cracked concrete and the barn is obsolete and useless, and we don't plan on ever using the silos again. The only thing I'm going to miss about the silos, if we ever get around to tearing them down, is the blue silo and the concrete harvester down at my place. They've been there my whole life, and I'm so used to coming down the highway. I mean, if you guys have come to the farm day, you know where my farm is, because you literally are looking right at it when you're coming down that part of the Highway 61. And I'm just so used to being able to look across and see that view. But times change, can't be stuck in the past and all that. I get that. But that'll definitely take some getting used to, not seeing that silo link. And I'm just about done. I took my time. I didn't use the 79. I could have, but Dale is coming to help my dad haul this hay in as I'm baling. And if I gotta unhook the rake anyway, I'm already in the tractor. It's just simpler to unhook the rake, back up to the bale wagon, and then that way it's ready to go. And I'm not really looking for reasons to use the 79, because pretty much that's what all three of us, Dad, Ryan, and I, agree with down around here. It's not so much that we got a new tractor, we want to drive it. It's simply the fact that we have another tractor that's there, that if we need something, we can use it. Because like the 46, that hasn't come off the mower this whole summer. I don't know. I don't think the 46 has come off the mower all summer. And once we get done with hay, that's going to go onto the grain cart. The 79 will either be on the grain wagon, hauling corn between the farms as need be. The 79 will also go on the other grain cart when we're harvesting to ship down the road. This will probably end up on the rotary mower so we can cut stalks, because as soon as we get the first 50 acres of corn stalks harvested, they're getting cut so they can dry out, and we're going to be making about 300 bales of fodder. That's a lot more than we've made in the past, but it's honestly about what we need. 300 bales of nice dry fodder, and that gets us pretty close to where we really need to be. Because in the past, even the last year, we were actually throttling back how many we were putting out because we were going to be short. But with that, I gotta go. So thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in. August is about over, so I mean, this is kind of a random haying moment, but I got some random projects I gotta work on. I'm probably pulling the combine out next week, really, to get that gone through and greased and everything, so that way it's done. Chisel plows got to be checked over and greased, flip the blades on them or the shovels on them. Then we got to make hay. We've got about 3 weeks of hay making to do once we get into September. Yeah, actually about easily 2 weeks, if not pushing 3. Then by the time you factor in now until October 1st, we don't have a whole lot of time left to work on my fencing projects. I'll talk to you guys later.